I think I've been fascinated with traveling all of my life. My fascination comes from my grandparents' way of life. My grandparents live in an RV and travel around the continent, stopping wherever they want. This past summer, I went on a very important trip. It was the first time I'd ever traveled on my own. I flew to Baltimore, where I was picked up by my best friend, and then we drove back to our family home in Hampton, Virginia. There were multiple times during this trip where I had surreal moments. The most surreal moment was seeing her for the first time. Sure, I knew what she looked like, but seeing her in person for the first time was really strange. Jordan and I didn't really meet in a conventional way. In fact, it's a little strange. We met on a website called Omegle. We got selected to chat with each other because of a shared interest in One Direction. 7th grade me was obsessed with them. Ever since that first contact with her, I don't think we've gone more than a week without talking to each other. Because we never saw each other in person, seeing each other at the airport was a strange experience. I was standing in an airport I'd never been in, and as I walked towards where she was supposed to be, I felt nervous. I knew her, and I knew she would be exactly what I saw on many long FaceTime calls, but suddenly she was there in the real world. There were so many more moments like that throughout the entire trip. Another one of the most incredible moments was going to the beach and swimming in the ocean. I'd never been to the Atlantic Ocean before. I'd never swum in any ocean. But in that moment, I felt at home. It was odd to me that I'd find it there. I think it was because I was with her. As we were driving on the highways back towards Hampton, I had another one of these moments, and within that moment, I took this picture. I don't know how many people have been to Virginia and experienced these tunnels, but they last for miles. It was a really surreal experience because in that moment, we were just 3 people, tired and quiet, leaving the beach, headed home. While these are just a few of the moments I experienced during this trip, they are representative of the trip's meaning to me. Through traveling, I am able to be more introspective about myself, which is a massive part of my worldview. I find meaning in the experiences that drive introspection and a better understanding of the world around me. Each of these individual experiences allows me to have moments of clarity and understanding. During each of these moments, I felt this surreal sense of being at home, even though I was 600 miles from it. I think that this is the way that I first recognized that I found meaning in this trip, and specifically in my friendship with Jordan. Jordan has been one of the most influential people in my entire life. Because of the influence she has on me, she's been a large part of how I find meaning through different experiences we have been through together. I found our friendship to be one of the most meaningful things in my life because through her, I am better able to understand myself. When I first think of this trip, I don't often think of the meaning of my life immediately, but this trip was the beginning of me finding meaning in our distance from each other. Through cell phones and computers, those miles between us shrink away pretty fast. Our distance reflects a large part of my life's meaning because it reflects the relationship I've built with her over the past 5 or 6 years. The idea of distance is always something that has separated us. It has allowed for this disconnect between our lives that resulted in our friendship being stunted at a certain level. There's a particular way to be friends when you see each other in person versus online. During this trip, we were able to surpass that line and merge both of our lives. Because we were experiencing each other's lives in the physical world for the first time, I often felt these surreal moments. There were moments of incredible confusion where I couldn't believe that I was actually there that drove me to spend as much time soaking in these little moments of meaning with her that I could.